Hi, we're going to be doing a taping technique for the Achilles. Now, this usually comes from athletes with Achilles tendonitis. So the first thing we're going to make sure is that we have some pre-wrap. Now with this really helps with the tape irritation on the athlete's foot as we start applying some of the tape. So this really helps. And so as we're applying, we want to make sure that we are rolling the pre-wrap at the bottom of the roll. So this really helps giving tension on that athlete's foot. We're going to do a light wrap around. And then you're going to go right about here. Once we get a nice little light amount of pre-wrap, we're going to let it sit there. From there, we are going to start off with 3 anchor strips. And now for this first one, we want to make sure that at least half of the strip is right on the skin so it really holds the tape job in. And as we're putting these down, we want to make sure that we're going at an angle so that it limits the amount of space that we are going to be leaving. So we're going to do 3 strips, and we're going to be overlapping about half on each of these. Right at half, around. Right there. So once we get those first 3 anchor strips, we're going to move down to the next anchor strips, and that'll be right on the foot. And so as we're doing this, I want to make sure the direction of pull is upwards, so we really keep tension on that tape really nice. And then the same thing we're going to do for this, we're going to overlap about half of the strip. Really keep that pre-wrap secure. Now once we get those 2 anchor strips in, we are going to now create a fan. Now with this, we want to get this first measurement from the first anchor strip all the way down to the anchor strip on the lower leg. Once we get that measurement going, we are going to then create the 3 strips in a X shape. You want to try and make sure that the tape is nice and straight as well, doesn't mess it up. Now with that, once we get that, you want to try and apply that first fan right on that first anchor strip. And from there we are going to secure it with a closing strip. Now the same thing with this, we are making sure the direction of pull is upwards, really keeping in and securing that fan. And you're going to do 2 closing strips to make sure it's nice, secure. Now from here, we are going to try and pull this down as much as we can to try and get as much support on that Achilles. And we're going to put it all the way down right on that closing strip. We're going to secure it. And this will be the last closing strips. And so we're just gonna close off the foot from this point on, trying to get as much support on that closing strip on the fan. And with that really helps the Achilles and limits that dorsal flexion on that foot.